Welcome everybody. My name is Alba de Leon, and this past summer, Julie contacted me and let me know about this opportunity to do a teaching learning presentation. And while some faculty were doing these presentations independently, I decided to collaborate with my colleagues that I've worked with over time. And Carmen and I have known each other for quite a while. You probably know Carmen Velasquez. She and I serve in the International Education Committee here at Palo Alto. And then we also have Alejandra Bueno, who is the new director at District. And she has been working with Palo Alto as an interim and now at this level. And Palo Alto has had an interest in internationalization well over 20 years. Of course, I've been working here for 30 years, and I would say that it's even up to 30 years that we've been working on internationalization, but it's been a slow process to institutionalize at Palo Alto with our changing focuses with our presidents, and also informing the alliance and the work that needs to happen at District so it can work with us. And we dovetail together. So today you'll be hearing from us three. I will be talking from the point of the classroom. So I will be coming at the end, letting you know what I did when I worked with an international faculty member in the classroom, because internationalization does take place, or at least in my opinion, begins in the classroom. You will hear from Carmen, who will have an overview more about the campus and the work being done there. And then of course, Alejandra will start us off with letting us know what is going on in her office, especially as she has become the new director. There has been some changes and some doors that have opened and opportunities for us despite COVID. So thank you again for your interest and for joining us. And here we go. So Alejandra, let's see if I can, Alejandra, are you ready?
Sorry, yes, absolutely. I'm ready and I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you so much, Alba, for inviting, and Julie. It's a pleasure to be here today, sharing some updates about the international office, international programs. We're very, very happy to be here today. And Carmen, also a pleasure to share this panel conversation with you. So thank you so much. I'll take this opportunity to share some latest updates. I don't know if you can see my screen here, but I'd like to introduce some new programs that, we have gone through lots of changes after the COVID. We had to suspend a lot of our traditional activities like study abroad and visits from delegations and from students and face-to-face exchanges, etc. So that made us really rethink entirely our international office. And with the support from faculty, key faculty, and experts also in international education, we have been able to reframe what we want to do. Alba is here, and I would like to really give her credit, because since the very beginning in the conversations that I've been having with her, she has said something very important that gained some importance as the pandemic was advancing, that internationalization begins in the classroom. And we have been changing a lot of things so we can access internationalization in the classroom. So here you can see very quickly an overview about the programs that we had before, which of course are staying there, but those programs are much more dependent on the face-to-face contact and the actual travel. So since we cannot travel much right now, and because we needed to bring a comprehensive internationalization, we have developed 3 new programs. Virtual exchanges under the modality of collaborative online international learning, Alamo Global Student Distinction Program, and Global Engagement Network for International Education. We have been also rethinking about this concept of the strategic objective from the Alamo way. We need to bring global citizenship to our culture. So we dig deeper into that concept, trying to find what is global citizenship education. And something that highlights for us is to equip individuals with global competence. So digging deeper further, we were analyzing what are those global competencies that we want to promote in our students. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to spend much time here on this graph, but we analyze what is normally considered global competencies, global skills. And what we did is to propose a list of knowledge, skills, and attitudes that we believe should be promoted as Alamo Global Competencies. We have also aligned these competencies with the learning outcomes that our colleges have assimilated. So we can see that a lot of these global competencies align very well with the learning outcomes. We have developed an entire comprehensive internationalization for these 3 new programs. We created first the white papers, and then we have submitted these white papers to consideration and feedback to different focus groups. Right now I started this program with this process by presenting to SLT, and now we're returning to SLT with final recommendations and final requests for approvals. So let me go a little bit deeper into these programs. We have Genie that it's like a buddy system. If you're familiar with that program from other institutions, it's where local students and international students will basically find opportunities for connecting and for engaging. We are adding to our portfolio of programs virtual exchanges. This is fascinating. We are already working, and Alba will tell you more about that because she's already engaging in what can be considered online virtual exchange. But we are adding this formally to the possibilities of our office. So any faculty interested will have opportunity to get trained and participate in virtual exchanges. We are accessing already an important network of institutions around the world where we can partner with them and we can do virtual exchanges with them. And we're very excited for bringing also this program. It's called the Alamo Global Student Distinction Program. We want to bring global competences to our students based on what I just mentioned about global competencies. We are aligning these global competencies with our workforce needs from us. We're very excited for that. We've been having a lot of conversations with private chambers, with big employers. And what we can tell you right now is that they value these marketable skills. So what we did is we created this program that we're aligning with Alamo Experience. Basically, any student that participates in a study abroad exchange or virtual exchange or in Genie, and here comes the key part, in an internationalized course, will be able to complete a different type of distinction here as ambassador or diplomat or global citizen. So what we did is we analyzed, first of all, how many courses meet this criteria. As a first phase, which courses they look like internationalized. We shouldn't be stopped there. We have identified around 140 courses that meet the criteria of internationalized courses. And we have worked this list with academic success division. And also we have presented to the vice presidents of all the colleges. So we are in the process of creating a new committee that is going to be in charge of internationalizing the curriculum. We have here the 3 main tasks of this committee. As you can see, it's first of all to approve the list of 140 courses with international perspective, and then maybe others to approve others that maybe they have an international component, and also bring an internationalization toolkit for those faculties that would like to create or to bring an international perspective. So we are creating this committee and hopefully it will get approved by SLT. We have created an international faculty committee with participation of those faculties that were interested in joining. We are actively working now. We already hosted 2 meetings and they were very productive. And with that, I finished my presentation of the key changes. We have been doing some benchmarking about these programs and partnering a lot with Valencia College. We have been learning a lot from them. And at the core of all this, we align with the values of Alamo Colleges. We believe that definitely global competencies align and instill in our students a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because they become more flexible, they become more culturally aware, and we're excited. We're excited because in these times, we're very happy to bring that alignment to the values of Alamo Colleges. With that, I stop my presentation, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to collaborating with your group, with PAC, and definitely. And I have this presentation that I will share with you, Julie, as I finish, and also the white papers. And I would like to, before leave here, to invite any of the interested faculty in belonging to the International Committee to reach out to me and join us. I'd like to just quickly mention that this is not only my proposal. This is our team. It's a small team, but we're very passionate about what we do. I like to give a full credit to everybody that is working in this entire process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alejandra. And one of the reasons why we set up this presentation for you in this manner is that in many ways, you will be provided today with a big picture. There was a lot of information that Alejandra shared with you, and of course, it will be available to you. And within there, especially since this is particularly directed to you as faculty, you might even find that you are already doing something in your classroom, or perhaps you have an idea of where you might want to move in the process of internationalization, or merely to have the discussion. Because as Alejandra pointed out, without you, without the student interest, without the faculty who mention it in the classroom, students may not know about this opportunity. The other place where students are exposed to the opportunity of internationalization is right on campus. Unfortunately, today we're not on campus to see the wonderful programs that are pushed out through the International Education Committee, and particularly in one week, which is known as International Education Week. There's a committee there that actually is composed of faculty, staff, and sometimes even administration that comes and joins this committee, because without the effort of everybody, we couldn't have this kind of programming on campus. So Carmen will be sharing with us some of the work that's being done now in preparation for International Education Week. Carmen?
Thank you, Dr. De Leon. Thank you, everybody, for spending some time with us this morning. As Dr. De Leon had mentioned, we do have the International Education Committee at Palo Alto, and that is one of our college committees, and everybody's able to sign up if you feel so inclined. And what we do is we not only try to highlight what the district is doing in regards to study abroad when we could actually do study abroad, but we also felt it's very important that all of the advisors are very aware as well of what is available to our students. So, because of course we know that as we reiterate these opportunities over and over to our students, maybe the 5th or 6th time they hear it, they will say, maybe that's something for me. And so we make sure that we always keep that in the back of our head, back of our minds when we are advising a student, letting them know what's available. And then also, in addition, with Dr. Flores's push to have our students complete an experiential learning an activity through their first year at Palo Alto, we feel that this, if anything, is something that is very, very important for our students. It really, to us, is a self-transformation. They are learning more than what is in their comfort zone and learning about how important it is to be able to understand other cultures, other economies, everything, and how we all work together as a world, and as and how we want for them to value the cultures, not only our own, but those of others that we may not understand, but we know we need to be respectful and appreciative of those other cultures and what they bring, not only to San Antonio, but to Texas and to the United States. And so with that said, we do have some fun and exciting programming that we are going to do for International Education Week, which begins November 16th. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can show you some of the things that we're doing, as well as I will also send you, put it in the chat so that everybody will have a copy of this. We're working again with district. We are very excited to work with district because they are obviously very supportive of the work that we do on campus. And also it's a great partnership and a great collaboration. So with Maria, we work really, really closely with Maria and Alicia. And so we are just very appreciative that we have that open dialogue. So on Monday, we're going to open up with from 1 to 2. We will have a Frida Kahlo Museum tour. This will be hosted by Dr. Lori Rodriguez and Magdalena. She's also instructor here at Palo Alto. And it will be an hour-long virtual tour of the Frida Kahlo Museum. And if you have not been able to yourself go, it is such a joy and it is gorgeous. And so to be able to at least see this, we can't go anywhere physically maybe, but we can go somewhere virtually. And so this is a great opportunity for the students to see what's out there and to learn more about this incredible artist. And so we will have that along, and this is also highlighted when we go back to doing study abroad. This will be one of the stops in that study abroad program. Next, we have Lloyd Walsh, who is also an instructor at Palo Alto, and Dr. Pilar Damron, and I think she's with Northwest Vista, and they are going to talk about Spain and their experiential learning in regards to the customs of Spain. And again, this is something that is a study abroad opportunity for our students. So it is a wonderful sneak peek at what they can expect, especially our students who are interested in wanting to go to Spain. They have an opportunity to learn a little bit about the culture, food, family, city life, all of that, and definitely pique their interest to participate and study abroad. And those are our 2 events for Monday. On Tuesday, we have a wonderful event. It is highlighting India, and this is with Tanvi. She is not only an international scholar, but also an internationally renowned artist. And we are very lucky to have that sponsored by Dr. Alba de Leon and the art department. And she is going to talk about, she's going to introduce us to the colonial history and the rich folk art and crafts of India. And also, she is going to focus on the repurposing of materials and objects in the art, and how that has really kind of changed the art, the Indian art. And we're really excited to have her do a live presentation with us from India. She will be doing that with us, and we're very excited. And that will be on Tuesday from 8:30 to 9:30. And luckily, Dr. De Leon will provide us, after my presentation, she will also provide us more information on that particular presentation. Later on in the afternoon from 4 to 5, we're going to be highlighting Greece. It's going to be a cooking demonstration, learning how to make hummus. And so that is something that is being sponsored by Student Life. And unfortunately, right now, all the slots are full to receive what we did is for the first 40 students that signed up, they are going to actually receive the groceries delivered to them. And then from 4 to 5 as a group, we will be learning how to make hummus. However, if you weren't able to register earlier, you are able to join us. And we do, on the registration link, we do have the ingredients for either the regular hummus or the dessert hummus. And so feel free to still come and join us so that we can all learn together and also learn a little bit about Greek cooking and some of the traditions. And this is, again, a traditional Greek dish. And then later on in the evening, we will have a presentation, a martial arts and yoga presentation, and that will be with instructor Tony Longoria and somebody from Student Life, Timothy Castillo, and they will have a demonstration for martial arts as well as yoga. So we all, so we can find our Zen after this crazy election. Okay, on Wednesday, we are also highlighting Mexico as well. And this is the instructor Magdalena from 10 to 11 p.m. That is a long, I meant 11 p.m. That is a long presentation. No, I will get that corrected. And so it will be the National Anthropology Museum virtual tour. Again, this will be something that will be highlighted in the Study Abroad for Mexico program. In the afternoon, we will have a demonstration, a woodcutting demonstration with Sabra Booth, who is a faculty member in our art department, and that will be from 11 p.m. to 1 p.m. And students this is an opportunity that they will learn about the art of carved woodcuts, as well as this is something that they will be seeing live if they decide to partake in the Japan Study Abroad program as well. On Thursday, we have the great privilege of collaborating with our it's Viva Verde, and we are working with them to highlight they have a fashion show every year, and we are also incorporating some really interesting and educational videos that show how different countries recycle materials to create other crafts, whether it's clothing, whether it's purses, other fashions, but also how these fashions such as blue jeans, which I was not even aware of, how they also are a strain on our environment and how we recycle those. And with the students that participate and view this particular presentation, they will also be able to get door prizes such as gift cards to Goodwill, to purchase clothing. Also, they will have eco-friendly energy kits. So this whole presentation is basically like how the world recycles, how the United States recycles, and what we can do for our part to recycle. And then lastly, we will close out with our presentation with Brad Chandler, and this is a collaboration on Friday the 20th from 10 to 11, and it's a collaboration with Ireland, the Trinity College in Dublin. And it's really exciting to highlight all the opportunities that are in sciences for both men and women, and they will also highlight their science gallery. So this is a collaboration that Brad Chandler, and I know that Alba, you participated also in the Ireland trip. And so this is something that I don't know if is it still going to be with the honors, the Ireland trip, or is it would it be usually open?
So, yeah, it's interesting that this particular one was held virtually because we were unable to go to Ireland this past summer. Mm-hmm. It is set up so that honor students can actually take the course. And it's also very unusual because it has to do with art and science. And so Brad and I had actually worked on a bio art project, which turned into an environmental project, where we offered art appreciation, and particularly art that is done with the use of land, and he offered biology the first course in that, and it was an interesting collaboration. So yes, we're planning to offer it again, and I'll talk a little bit more about this when we talk about the faculty internationalization. Thank you.
Yes, and so this is the full list. However, I also will share the list or in the link that district is also working on as well, because they are putting together all of the programs for all of the colleges so that everybody can participate. Since we are virtual, it's easier for us to participate in those events. And so all the colleges are coming together to work together to share our events so that everybody can have a good perspective and that our students can attend when they are available. And of course, with the encouragement of the faculty, that would be very helpful. And we really want to make sure that these are events that the students not only can learn about, but again, think about participating when they are wanting to do study abroad, because this is something that is an incredible opportunity for them. Anybody who's ever done study abroad, I never didn't have the opportunity, but I went with my sister when she did it at UT, and I said, you know what, I'm living with you for a year. I don't care. I'll live somewhere on the couch, but I'm going with you. And I mean, it changed my life. And so, and it does change your life. So we want to provide our students with those opportunities to think about beyond 410, think about beyond San Antonio, and see where they fit in the big scheme of things. And so thank you so much for your time. And if anybody has any questions, we also have opportunities for faculty to always apply to submit a proposal for study abroad so that we can continue exploring, working together, and letting our students know what's available to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alba, do we want to pause and see if anyone has any questions? That was a lot of good information. Or maybe you have that built into your agenda. I'm sorry.
No, this is a very good time to pause because the next half of this has to do with just a classroom expression. But here, what is so important for faculty is to try to understand how do we navigate the systems that the district and the college have put in place so that you as a faculty member with an interest say, okay, who do I go to? Where do I learn more? Or who do I just have a conversation about? Because the internationalization is a passion for many people, but moving into the systems that we have in place can sometimes be a little tricky. And while we support you as faculty, there are some faculty that sometimes feel like their voice isn't heard. So I want to take that, and that's what this Teaching Learning Center and these webinars are for. They're for us as faculty. So let's entertain some questions if anybody has an interest or a thought that they'd like to express.
Yes, please feel free to unmute. Everyone's muted, so just unmute and go ahead and join the conversation. We're a small group, so, you know. Jesus, did you want to share something?
No, not at the moment. I'm just listening and thinking.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, like the good teacher that I am, I'm going to call out my colleague, Ronnie Brannon. I see you there.
Wow.
And
How did I know that was coming? How did I know that was coming? But I was just trying to unmute myself so I could get in there to just say how excited I am to see all the things that are going on with international education. And, you know, from the Alejandra from the district and her leadership there and setting us on a path. And, you know, we have a great program, and the pandemic is not slowing us down. And that's the way it should be. We should be constantly staying focused on providing what students need to get this international experience. And so I'm so excited about the program that was put forth, and I knew Carmen was going to be all over it because I have seen her working with her over the years in an international education at Palo Alto. And I'm just hoping and praying we can get more faculty involved and that we can get more of this in our individual courses. So I'm really excited about what we have ahead of us, and here.
I wanted to just add on what Ronnie said. I'm amazed at how many opportunities there are in the COVID environment without traveling. And it's actually like a silver lining because I'm sure it's less expensive. And so it actually broadens the opportunities for our students. So that was really cool to learn about those opportunities.
Yes, if I may, I think we all tend to think that international is for travel only. But international is about understanding other cultures and understanding what's going on around the world. And we are so close, despite being in the intimacy of our own homes, we are really connected to the world. And I cannot tell you, every day I'm connected with people from all over the world, and it's easier than before. So we are even more active, partnering with some partners right now than before.
It almost seems like it's a good first step for some students because actually, it gives you a taste of internationalism without internationalization, without actually having to face the fear of getting on the plane and going somewhere different. So it's like a good intermediary step before, taking on a full-blown trip or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and that one is not going to substitute the other. Of course, study abroad is the most wonderful, I would say, the ultimate experience in international. I'm sure Alba will agree with me, but that shouldn't stop us from keeping internationalization at all levels and at all times. So that's kind of like the vision right now that we're trying to bring to Alamo colleges.
Kudos to you and your organizational work. I mean, I was really impressed with the slides and the things that you've done to, build it within a framework and even align to the learning outcomes, which of course I love.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julie. We're very happy for that, and we would like to also align with our core values. My key thing right now is I want to demonstrate, and my team is aligned with me on this. We want to demonstrate that global competencies really help in building a culture of diversity, inclusion, and diversity.
Yeah. So at Palo Alto, we are very lucky that the Teaching Learning Center has embraced this because it can be a little bit overwhelming. And I think one of the things that we're also committed to is that this is part of faculty development. Each and every faculty was hired not only to teach courses, but because of the expertise within your areas. So as you saw there is Ronnie, who comes to us from the other side of the house, I sort of like to put, with logistics, and he and I have also done some work. I come out of the arts, but I did do some doctoral work in international education and received a degree there. So sometimes I can see from a particular point of view how in your own subject matter, faculty already notice or want to enhance or enrich the part that is about other cultures, about internationalization that they know is important for our students. So also think of it as faculty development. Think of what's available at the Teaching Learning Center, and then by all means, go and find the team and the team members of Alejandra. There is an open door there for us, and it has been even opened wider with her leadership. And so you don't have to go through us necessarily if you merely want to have a conversation about what's out there.
Thank you, Alba. That is correct. We will be most happy to keep the engagement active with anyone interested in international education.
Any other comments from our participants?
Julie?
Yes, Jesus, go ahead.
there was an email that was sent, I guess, by the international program asking for teachers who were interested in signing up for a committee or to participate in the program. So I sent my email back saying that I would like to be a part of the program, but I haven't heard anything back from them. So I was just wondering whatever happened.
Oh, I'd like to apologize, Jesus. I don't know where, if it, probably we missed your, your email, but we'll be more than happy to connect with you. I just put on the chat here the presentation with all our contact information. So I'm going to try to see, Jesus, if I have an email from you, and if not, I will try to reach out directly to you. If you can put me your email address on the chat, I will connect with you, and it will be a pleasure to keep
Thank
you
you.
engaged and invite you to the faculty committee.
Thank you.
Jesus, I too am going to receive the emails of people who are participating. And I know how I started, and it is on that one-to-one conversation, like a plática. So I will also follow up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we're ready, I'd like to show you at least a little bit of what happened in my classroom. So with that, let me at least preface it by saying when this fall came, well, first of all, I was supposed to do a study abroad with Brad Chandler in Ireland, and clearly that did not come through. So we were also doing a presentation, which was the Arts and Society, and it turned out to be a conference, a virtual conference. At that virtual conference, as you know, you can meet people, and I happened to meet Miss Tambi Jain, who is from India. I had been to India on behalf of Palo Alto College, and I had done a work for, I'm trying to remember, right? I went to India with my colleague, Mark Hoganson, for a conference on arts. And so I was familiar with the culture and the work and the attempts that have been fostered by the district. That day that I met with her, I invited her into my classroom. And then I contacted Alejandra and said, this may not fall into the exact category of what COIL is, which is a national program that deals with faculty exchanges in the classroom, but it is a pilot that I would like to attempt. So I'm going to show you a couple of minutes of how we Zoomed with her. Luckily, she was willing to stay late so that we could find a time slot, and I taught the class on time. It was one of those early classes that started at 8 o'clock. So there was a benefit there in that students already had to meet at that time. I will share that with you. I will share with you then the work that was completed by students, and we were dealing with unconventional media in Drawing 1 and Drawing 2 classes. So I'll screen share now and start with that. Oops. Julie, let me see. We just
It's
tried
okay.
it.
Take your time.
Yeah, no matter how much I practice this, I get nervous. Okay.
Okay, I can see your screen.
Okay.
There you go.
And I think this will be familiar to all of y'all. There are about a total of 18 students here, and you'll see what's going on. Tambi Jain, am I pronouncing that right? Oops, let me start.
And we can hear it too, so you're
Good
good.
morning, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Tambi Jain. Am I pronouncing that right? Yeah, absolutely. And here you are meeting students from Palo Alto College in either Drawing 1 or Drawing 2, which we are conducting by Zoom this semester because of COVID. And at this point of the semester, most of the students are acquainted with their material in media, and Drawing 1 has gone through exercises of how they can use this material in media to create drawings from observation, which tends to be the initial process for most drawing students. drawing level 2 drawing students have completed drawing 1, and in fact they are more about exploring the ideas and the expression through the use of a variety of media. So what I would like you to do today is to introduce yourself and your research, and then we'll watch your presentation, and we'll have a Q&A in terms of what people might be curious about. At the same time, I found out right now that none of my students or the students in this class have traveled abroad, but know where India is and they're familiar somewhat with the culture. So however you want to couch that in your presentation, we're interested, and we're very grateful for you taking the time to be with us and to share with us this opportunity to become an international faculty exchange virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Alba. And I would also like to thank everyone for joining us here. And this is going to be exciting, and I'm really looking forward. And then, okay, I am basically an artist and also a research scholar from India. And basically my practice now is looking at the repurposing of materials in art. And apart from looking at the history of how non-art materials entered in art, I'm also interested in how, we can use waste as a potential material for the upcoming art scenario, and also, what all can be explored as a material for art. So,
Okay.
because the list is wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a screen share, and what I will be talking about is about Indian art. I'll be talking about Indian culture a little bit, and I'll be introducing you to the works of Indian artists and how sort of the use of non-art material evolved within India and also in other parts of the world.
Okay, so there's a little peek into my classroom, and I think for all of us as faculty, this is probably familiar, right? In that we see students trying to pay attention and trying to also participate. Then what I want to show you now, so I want to share with you now some of the work that came out of this. We ended up talking with Ms. Tamby, and so Ms. Tamby would come to class. We would use breakout rooms. We would use emails and any other form of conversation to address the possibility of exploration as students decided on their media. Okay, so let me, somehow this gets too big and then I can't, okay. Excuse me. Julie, I can't get it to minimize. What am I doing wrong?
Maybe just try, up in the right-hand corner, how you can minimize windows, any kind of software window. Maybe try that. Okay. Or maybe escape sometimes.
Okay, let me try escape. Okay, escaped work. Let me then screen share, and I should be able to get to the work. It's also interesting, even though I do this every day and I teach, I still get nervous. I'm always surprised.
We got it.
I'm always surprised at how, as a faculty member, I still get nervous. But anyway,
It's up there. It's up there. We can see it perfectly.
Okay, and then I should be able, I'm actually making a formal presentation where I'm going to share this with my students. But this is unconventional media. So as you can tell here, this particular student, Yomaya Espinosa, is a Drawing 2 student, and she's working with hair, metal, and found objects. And she created this particular work. As you can tell, it is not a medium that you'll often see being used in the making of art. And another work is this, which is inspired from the Indian, what is that catcher called? Is it a sky catcher? I forget the
Dream
catcher. And he has, I think that little object in the middle is a shell. She has some feathers and you can see it. And for many of the students, this was the first time that they were working with unconventional media. So that you understand what the process was, is we had a presentation about unconventional media and art. Students then began to think about what media they had around or available to them. Then they selected this media and we kept talking about it. They created sketches, and then what you're seeing now is the final project.
I have a question, Alba.
Yes, absolutely. You want me to go back to that image?
No, you're good. In general, has unconventional media always been a part of your curriculum, or did you add that because of the connection you made with the artist in India?
That's a very good question. And actually, I added it because I found somebody who had the expertise. And so when I met her at the conference and we started talking, I looked at her resume. She looked at what I was doing. And as she indicated to you, she's also a research artist. So she's in the process actually applying for a Fulbright. And that's how we ended up reaching out to Alejandra. So in my case, what happens is I become interested in an individual just because we're at the conference together, this happens. And then we start talking and then we start seeing if it's possible. We begin setting something up and then I reach out to the system, right? To Alamo colleges and I go, this is what is going to be happening in my classroom because I have academic freedom. But how can you support this? And we have gotten quite a bit of support from Alejandra in terms of support letters and applying for grants that she is doing at her country. And we'll see how that, we're all hoping that within the year or 2 years, we'll be able to have her visiting Alamo colleges. What's wonderful is she is able to interact with students and understand the profile of the Palo Alto student. So here is another work from Alyssa Garza dealing with colored yarn and plastics. We only focused on the materials. We did not dictate the subject matter or the idea. We allowed that to grow. All we did was to meet with them, to review sketches, and there was some successes and some failures, and then what we have here are the successes. Okay. So this is Cheyenne, and Cheyenne actually is working on Post-its. So she took Post-its and did this very complex, it's not a self-portrait, but it is a portrait. And so unfortunately, when we're looking at a screen like this, we can't really appreciate what is the value of the lifting of the Post-it here and there and how that affects our particular take on the artwork. Elise Sandoval was working with spices. She did this particular work and then unfortunately there was something sweet in one of the spices, and so she came one day and she found that there were ants all over it. As the artist who had made this, she thought the ants that were present were actually distracting to the work, and so she ended up destroying the work. However, it brought up the conversation that in today's world, the ants can be part of an artwork. It won't be an artwork that you'll find in a museum, but it will be an artwork that falls into the realm of being temporary or ephemeral. And so it opens up to that kind of conversation. And of course, here's where it would have been a pleasure to work with Brad to come into this class and talk about how maybe some artists can manipulate the path of an ant into an expression of art. So you see how the student begins to think and explore who they want to be and how they want to express themselves through the use of unconventional media. And then this is Jacob's work, and he is using coffee grounds, again, focusing on a portrait that appears also to be moving towards an animal. And so there's an exploration there, not so much about identity, but about appearance. And there's been other works that students have done with coffee, Kool-Aid, yogurt.
Wow.
It's really been an adventure for them. Thank you so much.
Very cool. Wow.
That
It blows
is.
my mind.
Impressive.
Yeah,
Was.
it's given me a lot to think about.
Well, you know, at Palo Alto, and especially I can talk in terms of the art unit where I've served as lead, practically, well, in fact, all of our professors have participated in some form of study abroad and or international travel. And many of them have professional careers where they are even recognized within the city itself. And so that comes into the classroom. Because I've been at Palo Alto now for a little bit too long, I am confident to throw this out there. I am confident in the classroom. And for those of you who are faculty, you know, today we're voting on that very issue of academic freedom, because it can lead to pushing our students to do something more than just simply a conventional drawing 1 or 2 class, where the media that you tend to use are pencils, crayons, ink. And here we moved into something new and exciting for them to embrace their environment and what they're doing. So thank you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ronnie. Go.
No,
I just want to let
say
everybody
this.
know it's like 11:26.
Okay, I'm gonna say this and I'll be done. That just was so creative, Alba, and I could just see the students enjoying that, and me be doing art in high school and almost going to take an art scholarship. Man, if I had Alba as my teacher, I would have been in art. I would have been some famous artist, I believe. So Alba is just so giving. And I want to say this one thing because it's on a Friday and we need to have a laugh before we leave. You know, I had a great experience in Cuba traveling with Alba, and on our way back into the country, we were going through customs and Alba was behind me. And so, you know, I looked back and she wasn't behind me anymore. I was like, what happened? And then I looked over there and there were like 8 agents around Albert. I'm like, oh my God, Albert was an international drug smuggler. I better get out of here. And so something says, no, Ronnie, no, be patient, calm down. Okay. And so I was like, I said, and no one was looking over in my direction. So I just waited. And so in about 20 minutes, you know, Alba was done and she came. I said, Alba, what happened? She said, I had some Gold Bond powder in my purse and it spilled out. And they thought she was smuggling these drugs into the U.S. You know, we all had a great laugh of that. But I learned so much traveling with Alba in Cuba of all the things that she was pointing out, things that was art that, oh, I didn't see that as art. But then when I looked at it again, I could see that. So Alba is truly a treasure. And I got into the international education through Alba. She brought me in and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So great.
I couldn't agree more with you, Ronnie. She's fantastic. She really is roll up her sleeves and do internationalization, no matter what the circumstance is, but she's absolutely committed.
Well, thank you so much. And there are many stories and collegiality that takes place. And I was looking at you, Ronnie, because I was scared because of my upbringing. And I am the daughter of immigrants. And so therefore, there were many things that I thought could go wrong. And so, you know, whatever. But I also want to share one more. What it's like 2 minutes before we end, and I want to share just something that Alamo Colleges did at the very beginning. We had just finished signing the NAFTA treaty, and Alamo Colleges took one of their buses, put administrators and faculty, and drove them all through Mexico.
Wow.
It was a 2-week visit so that we could understand what NAFTA meant. And these are things that Alamo Colleges on a whole for the community. I am so grateful, and it inspired me to recognize that institutions can support these efforts. So there were many stories there, but it was something that Alamo Colleges was committed to. Thank you for your time again.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you to our wonderful presenters, Alba, Carmen, Alejandra. Thanks for being here, Ronnie, Jesus, Luz, Matthew, Robert, and the others that jumped off a few minutes ago. But I will follow up with an email on Monday, and I'll send the presentation. And I'll send a link to the survey so you can give the presenters some feedback. And I appreciate you all being here and presenting for the PAC Teaching and Learning Center Friday webinar series. So have a wonderful Friday. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us, for having us.
All right.
You're very welcome. It's my
Professor
pleasure.
Noriega, hopefully you can send me an email. I've been trying to find your email here, but I couldn't. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. I will.
Yes.
Wonderful
Gracias.
presentation.
Gracias. Hasta luego. Enjoy.
Hasta luego.
Okay.
Adios.
Good semana. Bye. Take care.
That was fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yes, I loved
Gracias,
it.
Alba. Thank you.
Very
for having us.
inspiring. Very inspiring.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.